Hey guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Stephon Gilmore situation. We're going to be talking about all things Stephon Gilmore. Will he be coming back or will we be trading him? We don't really know at this point, so we're going to talk about my thoughts within this video. Well, this has been a highly requested one, and I didn't really have a video for today, and I want to start doing daily uploads, so I didn't want to not upload something today, so I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about this situation and what I think. And it really is just what I think because there isn't really any information to go based off of. This is all my thoughts. He was put back on the PUP list because you can get put on the PUP list for the preseason exclusively, and then you would be ready for week 1, but they went ahead and extended that right after that game. So now he is guaranteed to at least be out until week 6. So through week 6, we are not going to have Stephon Gilmore, whether he is coming back or not. So we know that part. What implications does that have? Well, it's J.C. Jackson, and in my opinion, J.C. Jackson, I love the guy, don't get me wrong. He had a lot of interceptions, but when he was number 1, he struggled a little bit. This is his opportunity to solidify his stardom for New England and just prove that he is a true number 1 cornerback. If he comes in and he locks down and he gets those interceptions just like he did last season, then I think that solidifies him as a star for us and a stud in general. But he might struggle too, like he did last season when he was the number 1. Now, interceptions doesn't mean you're a good cornerback. I really want to emphasize that because there was a guy, if you don't remember, Marcus Peters for the Chiefs who led the league in interceptions. His first snap as a rookie was an interception, and it's really cool and it's really good for a team. But it doesn't mean you're a great cornerback or a shutdown cornerback by any means. Matter of fact, his peak, according to Pro Football Focus, as a defender and as a pass coverage grade, he received an 86.6 rating in 2019, but it's very spotty because the year before that he had a 60.6 in coverage with LA. So he was in LA for 2 years, then he was in Baltimore and he did a little bit better. He got a 72.1 coverage rating last season, but it's not great by any means. And actually, matter of fact, that's very on par with how J.C. Jackson has been for the Patriots. But the thing is, like I said, he's been getting interceptions every single year, and I think that's more of a number 2 cornerback that's very valuable because a lot of passes are being thrown his way. But as a number 1, it's just not going to get you that lockdown cornerback that can really shut down a receiver. And that's no disrespect to Marcus Peters because he's good at what he does, and I think he's a really good player, but it's just not Stephon Gilmore, if that makes sense. He's not like a top 5 cornerback, and I don't even think anybody thinks that anyway. Now, the good thing for him is he is a number 2 cornerback for the Ravens right now, so that's good news for him. I think he's in a position where he's good to go. But J.C. Jackson, if Stephon Gilmore does not come back, is not in a good position to be the number 2 cornerback. He's actually our number 1 cornerback. So there you go. In our situation, it kind of brings up the question, who is the number 2 cornerback behind J.C. Jackson, at least for the first 6 weeks, if not, if we trade Stephon Gilmore or he remains on the PUP list throughout the entire season, which both those things are possible. Who's the number 2 cornerback? And it's between Jalen Mills and Jawan Williams for the most part. And Jalen Mills is a very inconsistent player, in my opinion. You know, he's had up years and down years, and that's the bad thing with him. According to Pro Football Focus, this isn't even just pass coverage grades. This is overall defensive grades. Last season for the Eagles, he had a 68.9, which is good, but in 2019, he had a 51. So night and day, really, right there. And then in 2018, it was a 57. And then in 2017, it was a 68.1. So it seems like he has these really good years, and then he has these, terrible years. And in 2016, he had a 39 rating. So, yeah, that's really not good. But it's just tough to say with him. Then there's Jawan Williams, who's even more of a question mark because he hasn't had a good or a bad year. He just hasn't even had a year at all. So we don't really know what to expect whatsoever there. Jonathan Jones pretty much has that slot cornerback position on lockdown. I don't think he would be good at that number 2 cornerback position because he's so valuable, first off, at the slot position. Not only that, but I think with his size, his play style, his speed, the slot position is really good. The outside position is not really good. Also, Shaun Wade, but he's much more of a slot guy. I talked about that in my video, so he's on the depth chart as well. I think it's between Jalen Mills and Jawan Williams at this point. Jawan Williams would be exciting, and I think he's shown flashiness, but I don't know if he's ready or not. But if he does play, he might prove me wrong. That might have the most upside out of everything. We kind of know with Jalen Mills what we'd be getting, but he hasn't really had a defense around him like this either, where he can be the number 2 cornerback and he can be in that position. So there's 2 options there. Now, at this part of the video, I want to just talk mostly about if I think Stephon Gilmore is coming back or not. And it's extremely hard to say, but the fact that they have not signed him yet, if they don't sign him before week 1 to an extension, I don't really know if he's going to be coming back. There's also the option that maybe he really is injured and he does want to come back, but he's just on the pup list because he's actually not ready. But it seems much more like a holdout at this point. Because if he's on the pup list, he can basically continue to get his money. If he was not injured at all and he was just choosing to hold out, he would not be able to get a lot of his money. He would be suffering severe penalties to his contract. So financially, I understand. It kind of sucks for the team, but I understand what he is doing at the moment. So at this point, I think there's a 50-50 shot Stephon Gilmore comes back. They've cleared a lot of cap space. They have the money to be able to pay him. They do have the money to be able to pay him whatever he wants, really, at this point. Even though we've signed all those free agents, the Patriots over the years have set up such a great cap space position. They're in such a great position as far as that goes that I think at this point they really could extend him, and I think that would be a very good thing for the team. But I think there's also a penalty looking towards the future over the next 5 years or so. If we do sign him, I think we could suffer consequences, and maybe we get 1 good year out of Stephon Gilmore. Maybe he's never the same again, or maybe we get 3 good years out of him. Is it worth it? That's the question. And if we trade him, this is the part of the video where I want to talk about if we trade him. What do we get? Like, what value are we taking a look at here? And in my opinion, it's not as good as most Patriots fans would want to think. And I wish I could say something better than that. But at this point, when you trade somebody in like a blindside trade, you get the most value because the player doesn't want traded. So a team has to offer up something really, really good to be able to get him. But in an instance where a player wants out, okay, so like Stephon Gilmore, let's say he really wants out and teams around the league know this, well, they don't have to give as much because, hey, look, this guy isn't going to play for you anyway. It's not like you're giving up a ton of value for your team by trading him. He's not. You're going to take what you can get because he's not going to play for you anyway. I hope that makes sense. Unless there's some sort of bidding war for it when we're taking multiple offers. I don't know exactly what the circumstances would be. But typically, when we're forced to trade somebody, you don't get as good of results. Like when we had to give up Gronkowski to go to the Bucks, a lot of people were disappointed by what the return was there. Well, Gronkowski wasn't going to come play for the Patriots, so you just kind of take what you can get because he wants to go play for the Bucks. It's just like that. If Stephon Gilmore wants out, you got to take what you can get because you're not getting Stephon Gilmore. So if you can get something in return, that's good because he would probably rather leave in free agency anyway. I hope that makes sense because there's a lot of things that go into it. Anyway, I just wanted to address this situation for you guys because a lot of people have been asking me about it. That's all I really have to say about it at this point. There might be new things that come out that will make it to where I can make another video about it, but that is all of my thoughts on this current cornerback situation, on Stephon Gilmore, on what we would get in return for the trade if I think he'll be traded. I hope this answers any questions you guys might have for me in those regards. As always, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for the best Patriots content on YouTube. As always, we're so close to 10,000, and it would mean the world if you just decided to subscribe because it would help me out so much at reaching that goal. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.